Welcome to the Self-Storage Show, where I have conversations with my industry friends, talk with owners and vendors, and share tales about my management company, 3 Mile Storage. Let's go. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into the Self-Storage Show. Hey, right at the top, I want to talk about something that's really valuable. You don't want to miss out on it. It's 3 Mile Domination. What this is they optimize your Google business profiles, okay? And we all know for self-storage, we live and die by our rentals. I guarantee you, if you don't have your profile optimized, you're losing out on rentals every single day. So go to 3miledomination.com. Right now, they are doing free audits of your profile. You'll see the big red button right there. Book your free audit right now. Book a time. We'll go through your Google profile optimization session in real time together. Send you back reports. So you have an action plan. It's very valuable. Okay. So again, go to 3miledomination.com and book your audit right now. Okay. Looks like we are live. Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for jumping on and joining me here. This is kind of just a off the cuff episode here. Nothing too planned out, but it's something I think you might get some value from. If you have the opportunity to sit down and listen and kind of go through this and maybe take some notes and mainly take action on kind of the things I'm going to go over here. Anyway, every once in a while I'll do these consultations. Don't do them very often, but owner will call me, want to go for an hour or two, kind of a deep dive consultation. And this guy called me yesterday, an owner, been open for about 6 months, just not hitting his projections that he had set. And, I looked at the projections and nothing was too out of the ordinary. Nothing was too crazy. It's not like they were like projecting 80 rentals a month. It wasn't anything like that. It was within reason and within their market. And so I'm just looking at it. I'm like, well, first off, right off the bat, what can I do? What are you looking to get out of this? Okay. Want to set those expectations. And he said something very straightforward and simple. And he said, I want to get 10 extra rentals a month from what I'm getting right now. That's it. I want 10 extra rentals. And I'm like, okay. And, I immediately think of, I'm a big Anthony Robbins fan, or Tony Robbins, how do you say his name? Big fan of his. He always has a quote that he always says that, successful people, they ask better questions, and as a result, they get better answers. And I thought of that just because he gave me a specific number. I want 10 extra rentals. A lot of times I'll, talk to owners and operators like, well, you want to boost rentals. You want to, get more activity, get more leads. That's great. Don't we all, frankly? But the fact that he's like, I need 10. I'm like, all right, cool. That kind of gave me the framework to really kind of dive in. I'm like, all right, let's get you 10 extra rentals a month. So I kind of wanted to just walk you through briefly on kind of how this conversation went. Because it might stir some ideas, for your own business as well, whether it be 1 rental a month, 10 rentals a month, whatever. It's a rental's a rental. So I came back with a question myself. So the first thing I always ask is I try to frame this around, what's your lifetime value of a customer? And most people don't know that, frankly. So we kind of go through that, what's your average unit price? What's your average length of stay? If it's in rent up, we'll do the average of the national average stats just to get a roundabout figure to something to shoot for. Like, all right, now that you know that a new lead, a new customer coming in, I think his was about $2,200 was his average lifetime value that we came up with. I'm like, all right, cool, you got that. How much are you willing to spend to acquire a customer? And that's a question I don't hear tossed around very often, frankly. So we sat there for a moment and we, till he was thinking, I just kind of shut up for a minute and let him think. Like, I'll say it again, how much are you willing to spend to acquire a customer? He's like, I could do 300. And I'm like, oh, all right, okay. We can work with that, frankly. Sometimes we'll go a little bit more than that, but we can work with that. Like, all right, cool. Because that just helps kind of justify some of these things where we are going to get into. And many things are free, frankly. It just takes your time. I'm like, all right, talking about leads. If you don't have a lead, you don't have the rental, obviously. So we're going to spend most of our time on what we need to do, get the leads, get the phone ringing, rentals coming in. So I'm like, all right, let's look at your website. So I just shared the screen, went to his website, and it was okay. It was nothing to write home about, but it was a decent website. I'm like, all right. So when was the last time you just had anybody, family member, don't care who it is, go on your website and just say, cool, or rent a unit, and just to see that process? Because those of us that are in it, I mean, we're on our website all the time where we know, oh, cool, we're going to go here, we're going to click there, going to go there. We know exactly where to go. I want it from a fresh perspective, fresh set of eyes, someone that's hopefully never rented before, and throw the website to them and just be like, cool, rent a unit, and just watch, see if it's intuitive, see if they're struggling where to even go to see unit sizes and pricing, and then of course to rent. Okay, you'll learn a lot just from doing that, frankly. Okay, cool. They go there. I want to rent a unit. Click it. How long does it take from beginning to click? You want to rent a unit to actually, cool, got the contract, we're good to go. How long does that take? We've seen some locations where it's like 40 freaking questions to go through. And it's a, 10, 12, sometimes 15-minute process of going through that. It's just not very intuitive, troublesome. It's terrible. If it's not quick and easy, people are going to be like, I'm bailing. I'll go somewhere else. It's not worth the hassle. Okay. Because that's the first impression of your facility. Okay. Is it quick and is easy? And this is great. And then the easier it is, the more they're going to think, it's going to be a smooth process when I actually get there and rent everything and move my stuff in. So it's a good first impression. So yeah, go through that. Go through the rental process, okay? And be like, okay, how can we streamline that? Because as we went through that quickly, I told them, like, I can guarantee you're losing rentals right then and there because people are like, it's not very intuitive, frankly. And as they're going through that rental process, like, this is a pain in the butt. See ya. They're going to go somewhere else. So I'm like, right there, there's 2 rentals a month, just conservatively. That's what I told them. Like, oh, okay. I'm like, so there's $2,000 for lifetime value. Okay, you just lost, $4,500. See ya a month because of that for lifetime value. All right, so again, you're renting from yourself. So there's a quick little action tip. If you haven't done that yet, have somebody else, not you, somebody that's never rented a source from you before, a friend, family, I don't care, have them rent a unit from you. Ideally, I used to do this. I used to have my kids do stuff like that. And if they could, if my 10-year-old could go through and be intuitive enough to rent the unit and go through that, I'm like, all right, cool, this works. Because for the masses, they'll be able to do that too. So that's kind of my nerdy thing I used to do. Then we started getting a little more detailed. Like, all right, there's your website. How are you driving traffic to said website? How are you getting people there in the first place? It's like, oh, I do SEO. I'm like, what does that mean? It's like, I don't know. pay the company some money and they do my SEO. I'm like, all right, well, let's look. Because the nice thing about now is you can't hide. You can run reports for anybody. In fact, I know that because I'm doing about 7 of them today. These kind of things. What we'll do is it's a tool. You can run these reports and just kind of see. It's very transparent on if people are doing the work for you or not when it comes to SEO. And we ran a citations report. And citations, in a nutshell, is think of we always put it in terms of like Google My Business, okay? Because everyone kind of gets Google My Business. Got that. Well, that's a great source. But how do you build legitimacy about that destination? Well, that comes around with all these other areas. You got your Apple Maps, you got your insider pages, you got Yellow Book, you got Yelp, all these other listings. Okay. You want to have your name, address, phone number, all correct in all these little listings. Now, I'm not saying you're getting rentals from Yellow Book, you're not. But the fact that you're there and it's the same address and phone number, it's all the same, it's going to be legitimized your main Google business profile. So it makes that more dominant. Okay. And the more all these citations are correct, that will just feed into your main like Google business profile, and you will get more rentals. Okay. And broke that down, pulled up the report, and like, all right, there was like 58 potential places he could be listed, and 42 were either unclaimed or had wrong information. I'm like, all right, just that fact alone, you're losing rentals because your citations are either non-existent or all over the place. Google is not saying you are a legit business. Okay. If you're not legit business, they're not going to be ranking you better because they want good customer service for their people that are going to Google to find a storage facility. So that was landing. I'm like, all right, I can't put a number on that, but you know what I mean? Like, you're losing this many rentals, but you are. I can guarantee you that. So let's be conservative again. Here's another couple rentals a month, just because your citations are a mess. Now we can, help you get that in order, and then it's a matter of being diligent and watching it every single month because things change and citations get messed up. And you got to be on top of it to get it changed back to the correct name, address, phone number. But yeah, he had no clue until we did that. And again, if you don't know what that is either, you're not alone because no one does. But once you see it and kind of get explained to it, it's eye-opening. Okay. So then since we were talking about that, we went into Google Business Profile. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's pull up your profile here. And right there, I'm like, all right, you're easily losing about 5 rentals here because we can go a whole nother session here just on optimizing your profiles. But we just went on the back end of his, pulled it up, shared screen, looked at it. I'm like, all right, your description's a mess. Your services that you have are very limited. He just had, storage or self-storage, I think he had. Like, you have other categories that you can be under. The more categories you have that you offer, the more chances you're going to be able to be found. That's the name of the game. And with Google Business Profile, the best analogy I can make is they're giving you everything on a silver platter when you're going through the back end of descriptions and photos and services and products. They're begging you to fill this in, okay? And I look at it as, frankly, you're kind of mirroring your website on Google Business Profile. You're going to have your sizes. That's your products. Your products are you rent units. That's your products. Your 10 by 10, your 10 by 15, your 10 by 20s. Each one of those is a product. So we quickly went through and did that. Updated descriptions. Then we got to reviews. That's another huge one. Like, all right, cool. What's your review process? How are you collecting reviews? How are you asking for reviews? Because no one's going to give you a review out of the kindness of their heart. You have to ask. And if you don't have that system set up in place, you're not going to get reviews. And if you're not doing it, the dude down the street is. Promise you. Especially if you're against a REIT. They have this dialed in. They have the processes and systems in place to get reviews because they understand the importance of it. I mean, a review to me is gold. I mean, again, look at your own behavior, okay? And this is what I was talking to him about. I'm like, look at your own behavior, guy. You go to Amazon. What's the first thing you do? Check out their reviews. So for self-storage, people don't know the differences. I mean, we rent air, okay? They're looking online the first time going, I don't know, who do I go to? They're trusting somebody with their stuff, okay? We all might look at it and be like, oh, it's junk. Frank, I think that most of the time. But this is their life. This is their treasures. They want to find somewhere they can be secure and trust that, cool, I'm going to put my stuff there. I'm not going to get robbed the next day, okay? So they're going to look at reviews to give more balance for their decision making, okay? They need that. So they're going to look through the reviews. So again, whoever has the good reviews and most reviews usually wins. And also, the more reviews you get, the higher you're going to be showing on Google Business Profiles. Be seen more, you get more rentals. It all starts feeding on itself, okay? So we went through a review process. I set up a simple system. Actually, after the first, as soon as they move in, cool. They get blasted a text saying, thank you so much for renting. Can you please give us a review? Really appreciate it. And just having those simple systems in place makes a huge difference. I'm like, all right, cool. there's another couple rentals a month. Promise you. The more reviews you get, the better it's going to lead to rentals. So I use all. So I'm like, all right now we're about, I think we're like 6 or 7 rentals extra a month by doing these processes. I'm like, all right, sounds good. I'm like, all right, so now the $1 million question is pay to play. Do you have a budget set aside that you actually are paying to get rentals? And we all know Sparefoot, whatever, love-hate relationship with them. But hey, that's part of the game sometimes, especially when you're in rent up. And if you can legitimize what you're willing to pay for a rental, hey, sometimes it works. I have some other areas. Thankfully, this guy wasn't in this area where it's like 700%. You got to pay 7 months worth of rent just to get the rental in the first place. I don't go that far, but this one was within reason. So I'm like, all right, consider Sparefoot, especially in rent up. Every rental counts right now. Let's talk about that. Google AdWords as well. I got back. What was that? So we did a little tutorial on it's pay-per-click. Okay, everyone remembers pay-per-click. Okay, it's Google AdWords, same thing. So look at a campaign to get that set up in your local market. I see a lot of people just wasting money when I kind of look at their AdWords account because it's too broad of a campaign. It's everywhere. It's like we're focusing on your 3 to 5 mile market. Anything other than that, you're wasting your money. So we focused on that. Went through the keywords, all that fun stuff. Set up the AdWords account, and with that, I'm like, okay, there's 3 to 5 rentals easy right there for you, dude. I'm like, all right, cool. So we're already over your threshold now. Very happy going through all this stuff with all the leads. I'm like, all right, well, now we got some other areas we can look at that are maybe not as easily found, frankly. It's kind of low-hanging fruit, but a lot of people don't really think about it. And if you've followed me for any time, like the period of time, I talk about competition alliances, which I love. Takes more work, takes some more setup, takes some more little tender loving care to foster those relationships. But when they work, they work. Okay. In a nutshell, what it is again is, okay, when people are calling for storages, okay, they need storage now. They're not going to wait. Okay. No one's like, oh, I need storage in 2 months. I better start calling now. No, they need it. They need it now. Okay. So when they're calling your competition, especially if they've been around for any length period of time, chances are they're going to be full. So we have, a campaign, send out letters, follow up phone calls, in-person meetings. Long and short of it is basically, hey, you're already getting leads. You're already getting calls for storage. If you can help them out, cool. Get the rental. Awesome. But if you are full, you can't help that customer right now. Let's make a win-win. Forward them to me. I'll be happy to pay you $100 for a referral fee. I'll make sure I take care of that customer. We'll get them a move-in discount, whatever. It's a win-win. I get the rental. You get money. Otherwise, would have just walked out the door that you would have missed out on. What do you say? And if you have 10 competitors, you're going to get 1, 2 that will do it, frankly. But sometimes that's all you need. You get that 1 or 2 that are actually working for you, and the leads just come. Okay. And yeah, if you get a relationship like that, you foster it really well, because that's great. I've had some sites in the past where really that was my only method of campaigning at the time, and we went from like 40% occupied to 80-something% occupied based off competition alliances. So it's awesome. So when it works, it works. So we talked about that. And we had, went through, and he had 12 competitors in a 3-mile radius, if I remember right. I'm like, all right, we only need 1. We're going to shoot for 2. And kind of identified some of the mom and pops. And again, the REITs, no, they're not going to do this crap, okay? But you get your mom and pop places that will do this extra $100 for a parental. Hey, they're on board, okay? And this goes back to, what are you willing to pay to get a rental? Okay, so you start That's why I pre-framed this whole conversation beforehand, because I was able to justify everything else I was talking about later on. So he was like, oh, cool. I'm in agreement. Let's go. So that worked out great. And then we got to do conversions. I'm like, all right, How many calls a month do you receive? I don't know. At least he was honest. And a lot of people don't. They don't track those numbers. So I'm like, all right, we're setting up a simple system. You're going to start tracking your numbers, okay? But how many calls? When I say calls, I mean sales calls, not when's my unit due? Not that. No, sales calls, okay? How many of those a month do you get? How is the actual process? So I did a secret shopper. I'm going to do that today, actually, do a secret shopper to see how that goes. Chances are it's probably not going to be the best presentation in the world, but when people are calling for storage, they need it now. It's pretty hard to screw it up on the sales call. It really is. And if you're just a little bit better than the guy down the road that they just talked to, you're going to get the rental. The chances are, if you got your marketing in line, you're going to get the phone call first, and you're not even going to look at anybody else, and you're going to get the rental anyway. So it all feeds off itself. And anyway, I'm like, all right, when they're talking to the customer, okay, are they getting their name? Are they getting a phone number? Are they getting an email? For the purposes of, if they don't rent right then and there, to be able to follow up. It's like, no, they're not doing that. I'm like, all right, cool. Again, thank you for being honest. But right there, you're leaving a couple of rentals a month on the table by just doing a simple follow-up. And it's pretty easy. At the end of the conversation, if they don't end up renting, you just be like, hey, Jane, can I get your cell number? I'm just going to text you what we just talked about, that we have it in writing. You got the sizes, you got our information, and the special, if we're running a special, and you got the special in front of you, because that way you can say, show us, hey, I got this special, and we can honor that for you. What's your cell or an email, and I'll send it over to you, so you got it in writing. Just as simple as that. And that way, cool. Now you get their information. Now you can follow up, 2 or 3 times. I don't go crazy with my follow-ups. I figure out for 3 times. If they don't want to rent, okay, they moved on. The end. I'm not going to harass them. I know some storage sites that will go unnamed. We'll do a lot more than that. That's just what I do. But just the fact that you are following up, you will get extra rentals just based off that alone. So anyway, all said and done, we went more in detail on other stuff, but that was kind of that's a 10,000 foot view for you. Hopefully just listening to that maybe spark some ideas for yourself to go through. It really just comes down to, like I said, asking yourself those questions and just sit down, whether it be once a week, once a month, hopefully not longer than that, but at least once a month. You're looking at your monthly numbers going, all right, cool. What are we doing? I might have a little leaky bucket right now with the rentals falling through the bucket. What can I do to kind of plug up some of these holes? Ask yourself that question, being honest with yourself, and you'll be surprised. You'll be able to come. Everyone knows the answers. Let's just call it what it is. Everyone knows what to do. There's a lot of people just don't do it, frankly. Sometimes that's kind of my job, is to hold up a mirror and be like, this is what you got to do. And hopefully I can show you a path on how to plug up some of those holes right now, so you're not losing these leads and losing those rentals, because it's a lot of money you're leaving on the table every single month. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I appreciate you guys jumping on, listening to this. Got some more fun stuff coming up, some more announcements with what's going on in my world, and some other partnerships in storage. So be on the lookout. It's going to be fun. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder. Do you want to level up your storage game? Visit theselfstorageshow.com. Grab some high-value freebies, check out top vendor spotlights, and stay in the loop with our newsletter. Do you want to chat about becoming a client with 3 Mile Storage Management? All the info's there. Plus, if you've got a story to share, we're listening. Everything you need is at theselfstorageshow.com.